Alright everyone, so in today's forecast, we will be looking at an upcoming system. In fact, it is looking like much of this month will be quite active. In fact, it does look like we will be seeing back-to-back systems across the country, with the potential to produce snowstorms on one side of the system, and on the other side, severe weather outbreaks could be possible in the one side of any system that does happen to pass through the country. Alright, so everyone, we will be starting off today's forecast with the future radar, as we usually will. It does look like will be seeing our current system be pulling out of the Great Lakes in the Northeast through Friday. It does look like some lingering snow could still be in place for tonight across portions of the Great Lakes, and even some lingering showers on the warm side of that, especially across in Michigan there. How it does look like we'll see our rare of snow for this evening, really just about now. They'll be coming through from Michigan into southern Canada and even into portions of the New England region, specifically Maine. So we are going to be looking at future radar. Of course, this one will be pulling out though, but it will bring some impacts to the portions of the New England region while we're still at it, even the potential for winter mix as this transition between snow and rain happens as expected given the track mainly to the north of the U.S. border there for that area. So again, that we'll be seeing much of the northeast and New England region to be seeing a snow to rain transition. In fact, the winter mix should happen within that transition as well. Our eyes will then turn to our next system that will be developing over the weekend across southeast. So we'll be seeing this whole area of heavy rain that could possibly occur across portions of southeast. In fact, we will be seeing this occur in portions of Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, Carolinas, even portions of the Florida Panhandle. This is all valid for a Saturday evening. So of course, this will be changing movement. In fact, this is about the time, really Saturday night, Sunday morning, we'll start to see snow develop on the backside of the system, especially across the Appalachians, although some of the lower elevations actually could get in on some of the snow as well, because it does look like this system will have enough amp or so to get some of that really cold air, especially in the heavier precipitation cores, to get some of that transitioning snow really going there across southeast. Now, this will be probably just more of an inland thing, with areas along the coast mainly dealing with another rain event. While it does look like this storm will be completely pulling out once the weekend is over, in fact, it does look like it'll be moving through. Okay, Sunday, it's going to be coming through central Appalachians. As of right now, it does look like coastal areas once again see rain. DC area, Baltimore, it's going to be more of a rain event for you guys. But it does look like some snow could fall not too far from you. So it'll be within driving distance if you have any skiing plans, of course. Our next system does come through with potential for major impacts across country again, bringing with it a line of rain and storms across much of the country, and then snow with it across the cold side system, mainly to be seen across the central northern plains and the upper Midwest and Great Lakes region. The second system will develop just right behind that. Of course, this first system should be happening Wednesday morning, mainly. It will be starting to develop across the central plains Tuesday, and then it'll be moving through Tuesday afternoon into the night through Wednesday morning for this immediate second system develops right behind it, which will be moving through just about 24 hours later in this very similar areas to where we had our first main system track. Again, this will be coming through with mainly a good area of snow from central northern plains Wednesday afternoon, and then this will transition east into the Midwest Great Lakes through Wednesday night into Thursday morning. Again, rain and even some storms will be favored in the warm sector of the system. And then this will look like the second half of February should be pretty active, although there could be some lulls as indicated here for a little bit before this active transition does happen. It does look like second half of February, especially towards the end of the month, get pretty active pretty quickly. So now we're going to be looking at some details in some of the nearer storms that we could potentially look into. So what the GFS is showing for a good while, it does look like for this current system, it does look like it could bring several inches of wet accumulating snow to portions of the North New England region. In fact, some areas of northern Maine could get nearly a foot of snow. In fact, it is showing areas of 8 to 10 inches near the Canadian border in northern Maine. while areas down here in central Sun Maine could just get a quick few inches before this transition to a winter mix even rain happens. Our southeast snowstorm is also something to be looking out for, as some places could get a heavy burst of snow, leading to a quick few inches of accumulating snow. Some places in the mountains could get over a foot of snow as well. That could bring that very significant travel impacts to that region there. It does look like our next system will be developing across the Rockies again Tuesday, while bringing with that a widespread area of quite a few inches of snow. They'll be coming through from Dakotas into Nebraska and all the way through Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, and basically a similar storm track to what has been seen with this current storm and our next predicted storm track for the next week or so. So that'll be mainly something we're going to be looking at here in the Circle region here. They'll come through central Rockies into the upper Midwest and northern plains to the Great Lakes, and then across from Canada, even some New England region could get in on the snowy stuff as well. In fact, as we're looking at it here, it does look like there could be a variable storm track after that, bringing various areas some more additional winter storms even through the second half of February. Although where exactly that happens beyond our next coming storms is going to be quite uncertainty. In fact, it does look like we have some that lower confidence with these upcoming storms as well. But we're going to try to get to what we know about these upcoming storms, although with less details. So in fact, this is what we're going to do. We're going to be comparing models, what to see what the average might turn out to be. Again, with plenty of changes expected to this forecast as well. So take these details with a grain of salt, everyone. In fact, by starting off looking at the Aero model, it is showing up to about 8 days out a potential major snowstorm that would actually take place. That's going to be coming from Kansas, Oklahoma, Southern Plains, actually, through some Rockies. They're going all the way across a band that could be coming from Missouri into the Midwest, Great Lakes, and then across from Canada into the New England region. And that's where Aero is showing that a widespread swath of several inches of accumulating snow, 8+ inches in fact, with some moist areas, although even that could end up being in a even narrower band, could potentially see over a foot of totals according to this model here. Again, take this with a grain of salt, this will all change. Does not mean this will occur even. But coming through Iowa into Illinois, Wisconsin, Michigan, portions of the southern areas of Ontario, Quebec, and that's where Eero is showing it. But if we do look at other models, these are actually going to be showing a farther north track compared to Eero. In fact, this one has it coming through with, according to the Canadian model here, Kansas-Nebraska border into Iowa, into Wisconsin, northern Michigan, and then again across southeastern Canada, with that widespread swath of several inches of snowfall. Locally, it could be possible in the Nebraska, Iowa area, according to this model here, but also southern Wisconsin, northern Michigan, and into Canada. Now, finally, of course, we have looked at the GFS, but we'll go this one more time. It seems like kind of all over the place, but it does look like a swath of several inches of snowfall, even locally a foot from the Great Lakes, that could be localized, even across southern Canada. Although this will be something to continually monitor throughout the coming days, because it does look like there's plenty of time until the system occurs. There's no reason to make a final say in anything, because again, we have a lot of lead time before the storm happens. So of course, we're going to be diving into some details. We're not going too deep. In fact, we will point out what models are showing which areas could end up being on the warm side versus the cold side of the storm system. Firstly, of course, CFS, although this is a very long range model, so it is not meant to be dealing with shorter term systems just like this one. In fact, not really a place you could favor any details on storm systems whatsoever. But it brings that freezing mark right from New Mexico, Texas, Oklahoma panhandles into Canada, Kansas, Northwest Missouri, Iowa, UP of Michigan, and then straight across southern Canada, and then into northern Maine. This is Thursday morning, by the way, when we are expecting these train of storm systems to pull through the region. Euro is a little farther already, but this could potentially just because of the cold front. But it is bringing that freezing mark through more of Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, even to Missouri, Iowa, Wisconsin, and more of Michigan. And again, this is as of Thursday morning, and this is not really an accurate track. Although, if we were to point that out, this would be average, although this could be something that might have to be refined as well. An average storm track based on the models here. So this would bring primarily some snowflakes and winter storms, of course, to the northern side of that, and even the potential for severe storms on the warm sector of the system, but of course mainly rain with that as well. So, of course, with that being said, this could bring an influx of Gulf moisture, in fact, quite fresh of it, into the southeast portion of the United States, especially here. That would be coming from the Mississippi Valley into the Ohio Valley and pretty much all of the southeast even. But other than that, yeah, it does look like Canadian model is showing quite a similar story. And then, yeah, so it does look like it'll be bringing this cold front through behind the storm system. Of course, some extreme cold could potentially pour down, although not really to an intense degree across the northern plains. Some of these models are really picking up on the South Pole, CFS not so much. Again, we don't really rely on that. Just as a scenario that's probably not going to happen, but we will always be paying attention to stuff. GFS is really the most brutal on this cold, though. Again, it is bringing many of these same areas across eastern half of the country and even the southern U.S. on the warm side of the system. And yeah, same thing here with the National Weather's blend of models, which brings that freezing mark almost to a straight line from Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, Iowa, Wisconsin, and UP, Michigan mainly, but even into northern Maine. Again, we'll probably see some in the Northeast that are currently under the freezing temperatures Thursday morning. That would be northern Maine, and we'll probably see that quickly flip into above normal temperatures, above freezing really, and even in the rainy side of the storm. But again, all this is uncertain at this time. So all I'm going to say is take this with a grain of salt, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this forecast and find this forecast useful, informational, helpful for your future plans. And we will be bringing plenty of updates to you on this system. So if you've not done so already, please do consider the subscribe button if you would love to keep listening to our updates for the future. And of course, hit the like button so we get this forecast out there. Stay safe for everyone. Have a good night.